Hello and welcome to our morning show, Teeing Off with RevSportz. A very good morning to all of you present. And today, also, like every day, we have lots in store to discuss on the world of sports. And to start with, today, uh, the World Shooting Championship is going on in Cairo, where Varun Tomar yesterday won bronze for India in 10-meter air pistol. And he won it at a slight margin advantage of 0.2. He got 10.3 in the shoot-off against Saurabh Jot, his compatriot, and won the bronze for India. And coming to football, India, the Indian Super League ISL champions of the league stage has been awarded yesterday. Mumbai City FC, they won the league of ISL 2022-23 season, but they finished the season with a loss against East Bengal by a 1-0. And as we know that 6 teams will qualify for the playoffs this season, and the second place team are Hyderabad FC, third ATK Mohun Bagan, fourth Bangalore FC, fifth Kerala Blasters, and sixth Odisha FC. Mumbai City have finished their campaign with 20 games, and all these second to sixth place teams have one game in hand. So second to fifth are almost set, but Odisha FC at sixth place have a chance to get down, and FC Goa might come up to the sixth place. So we'll have to see for that. And the IIFF Futsal Championship has ended yesterday, and Delhi FC have become the champion, defeating Mohammedan FC. And to discuss Border Gavaskar Trophy, today's T20 World Cup, India versus Ireland, and a bit of Ranji Trophy, we have Atram Khobatai with us.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Atram. Today, big game for India, India versus Ireland. Thoughts on that? And if they win, they will finish at the second place. They're not likely to lose, but they will face Australia in the semi-finals. How difficult will that be?
See, let's come to the Ireland game first and discuss Australia later.
Yeah.
India are almost there, but they're still not there. They have to win today to ensure their spot in the semi-finals, which will be a good predictable performance. But let them win this match first. And they have done well in patches. I would say they have done well in patches so far in this tournament in South Africa. The batting has not fired in unison. That is a bit of a concern for me. And the form of Harmanpreet Kaur, the captain, number 4, such a pivotal position, has not been that great. She had some injury issues going into the tournament, did not have a lot of net practice, did that only yesterday. And with runs
so
of,
I was going to come to that. Like Harmanpreet Kaur, for the first time in this tournament, batted at the nets yesterday, as reported by our correspondent there, Shubhan Chakraborty. So significance on that?
the significance of that is possibly she has overcome the fitness issues or the problems that she had, and now she is trying harder to give in her best so that he can be at her best out there in the middle. So far, what we have seen from her, only certain percentage of what she is capable of. We all know she's a destructive batter, but we have not seen her in that avatar in this tournament so far.
Yeah.
She has a scores of 16, 33, and 4 so far, which is a little below par from a player of her caliber. And India will look to win this game. I mean, they are favorites to win this game. There is no doubt about that. The bowling unit has done well, very well. The spinners as well as the quicker bowlers. It's batting that has to come together as a unit. I mean, we have seen only Richa Ghosh has been the consistent performer, but others have not been that consistent. I mean, be it Shifali Verma in terms of converting starts or Smriti Mandhana, although she has played just 2 games.
Yeah.
Jemima Herman with herself. So this batting unit has to come together. I mean, they have to. Uh, uh, I mean, it has to be collective effort. So that is what India will like to achieve in this match, and then take that forward to the knockout match against, most possibly against Australia, and but that's a different game. I mean, I think they will be looking at this game first instead of looking ahead to the Australia game.
Yes, like in our show also with Boria Majumdar and Trisha Ghoshal, as they keep on saying that a 60% performance, a 70% performance might do against Pakistan and Ireland and others, but against an Australia, you have to be at your 100%, 110%. And
Right.
for that, Captain Harmanpreet needs to fire, and I think she has realized that. So, do you think the WPL auction has something in mind? Do you think that affects the player bringing into the in this tournament? We have discussed this a lot, but I want to know your perspective on that.
See, I'm sure it does. When it comes to such a high-profile tournament, a big occasion, so much of money involved, I'm sure it does. But at the same time, I also think that they are all professional players. I mean, they are playing for India. So when they step step onto the field, I think what goes through their mind more is about the match. Is the match. So uh, WIPL is a major factor in determining a lot of things. But when it comes to playing a World Cup game for India, I think that becomes the priority. And I'm sure the players also treat it like that.
Yeah,
So
and we really hope.
WIPL is an incentive, not a distraction. I would like to think that way.
Yeah, good point. Good point. So I would really hope Captain fires today and we get a comfortable victory and even in the knockouts. So coming to the Border Gavaskar Trophy, we have a breaking news that Pat Cummins has returned to Sydney to attend some serious family health issue and will be back before the third test in Indore. And any updates other than this from where you are, from Delhi? We
What
heard that injured players will be back also. Any thoughts, updates on that?
Well, we can't say that injured players will be back in the 11 at the moment, but what we are hearing is that the injured players will be in a position, will be available for selection fitness wise for the third test, which starts on 1st March, which is still about a week away, and that'll help Australia in the sense that certain selection issues will be solved. If Green is available, then he gives them that all-rounder option. If Stark
Yeah,
and Hazelwood both are available, then they give them that potent bowling strike force option. And of course, Australia will benefit. I mean, if all three become available for selection for that game, but and Cummins has gone back temporarily. I mean, he's going to be back.
yeah,
So
yeah.
that is not much of a concern, I think, from the Australian point of view. They have many other concerns to deal with at the moment. I mean, when it comes to playing on the field,
I was
I
coming
mean,
to that.
on the field issues are bothering more them at the moment rather than off the field issues. Yeah.
Yeah. So as you mentioned, so what do you think these two tests? India have completely outplayed Australia. When I was, you have covered way more tournaments. When I was growing up, I've always seen Australia as a threat. When Australia were playing, we always think India would lose. But now the scenario has totally changed, and India are totally dominating. The test matches are finishing in 3 days. So where do you think India is doing so well and Australia are not?
See, I have seen Australia lose on Indian soil quite a few times. I mean, it's not the first time
Yeah,
that it's
but
happening. It's been happening for a while. In fact, Australia last won a series over in 2004. That was some 19 years back, 18 years back. So that is not surprising, Australia losing in India. But what
no, like this.
actually surprises me is the way they are losing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
It's a
mean,
total domination from India.
matches getting over in the inside 3 days, 2.5 days. In fact, a test match lasts 5 days. They lost two test matches inside 5 days almost. So I think what's working in India's favor is definitely the spinners. The Ashwin and Jadeja are the major factors, and
Yeah,
with a lot of support, with some very efficient support from the others, the fast bowlers, Shami, Siraj, Akshar Patel, the runs they are scoring, the runs the three spinners are scoring, uh, despite Indian batters. I mean, the remarkable point about this total Indian domination is that this has happened without India's first choice specialist batters getting too many runs. Other than Rohit Sharma,
Yeah,
nobody has scored a 50 from the specialist
exactly.
batters. I mean, from the specialist batters. I mean.
Yeah,
So, despite that, India, I think that's one reason why the matches are getting over quickly because Indians are not putting up. A first match they did score 400 in the first innings without, a lot of
yeah, like
contribution from the special
someone
batters.
like Akshay Patel also, who is not a specialist batter, but he's also putting up score like of above 60, 70. So that's an added advantage for India. Everyone can bat now.
Yeah, in Indian conditions they do. Uh, yes, I mean these have been invaluable contributions. Akshar Patel, Ravindra Jadeja, and Ashwin in both
Yeah.
matches. And what has also caught my attention and took me by surprise is the lack of application or the lack of clarity on part of Australia. I mean, they have not. They look completely unsettled. I mean, it seems as if they do not know. They are not sure about how to go about it. I mean, whether to defend or to attack, they are caught in two minds. And attack doesn't mean you play only sweep shots. There are so many other ways of confronting spin bowling, as Peter Hanscom displayed in that first innings in the second test in Delhi. He didn't play one sweep shot and scored 70 odd in that innings. So Australia probably uh, they're too fixated by the thought of that the only way of confronting or and succeeding against Indian spinners in India is to play the sweep shot or the reverse sweep shot. That is probably not right, and they have paid for it so far. I mean, you can see. I mean, so many especially in the second innings in the second test, so many of their batters got out attempting the sweep shot. Some of them were bowled,
Yeah,
some of them
yeah,
were leg before, some of them
yeah.
took the edge, got the edge, and were caught here and there. So they were this batting failure has led to India's complete domination. I would say. I mean, Indians have done whatever they could do, other than their specialist batters contributing. Whatever India have done so far, they have been right. They have done their job. But what has made the difference over here is that this complete lack of application on the part of the Australian batters. I mean,
So,
that is
so
making it so
according,
much. See,
yeah,
Australian bowlers have done very well. Australian bowlers have done commendably. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah,
India were 138 for 7 in the second test. They were 160 for 5 in the first test. And so that means that Australian bowlers did something. I mean, for the first test, that debutant Todd Murphy was
yeah,
remarkable. In the second test, Nathan Land was more than remarkable. Despite that, they did, the bowlers, Australian bowlers, did corner India. They did succeed in pushing India to tight positions. India came out of that. I mean, because of Akshar Patel, Ravindra Jadeja, and Ashwin,
yeah,
and
yeah.
Shami. But what let Australia down is the performance of their batters. Rohan.
So according to you, India did well, but Australia did wrong. So India's domination was more from Australia's failure. So according, and
I
coming to
wouldn't,
the yeah, yeah, yeah. Go on.
no, I wouldn't be so specific. But I say there. See, I mean, there is no one specific reason why this has happened. There are
Yeah, yeah,
one, two, three, and A, B, C. Those are small parts which add up to all this. And yes, among them, I think the most crucial factor, the first factor would be the bowling performance of Ashwin and Jadeja and the support
yeah.
provided by the faster bowlers. Second factor would be the contribution of India's so-called lower order batting, and
Exactly.
the third would be some very inept batting by the Australians. I mean, they. I mean, in the first Test match they were overcautious. In the second innings,
Exactly.
in the second Test, they were over aggressive. So they are venturing between extremes. While Test match cricket is more often about finding that middle path. It's not about you go North Pole or South Pole. It's not like that. It's somewhere in between. You
Exactly.
concede some ground and you capture some ground. What Australia are trying to do is they are either trying to concede everything or trying to capture everything. That is not how it works, and that is not how is it going to work. So they have to replan, redevise, refresh, and reboot to stand a chance of fighting in the remaining two test matches, Rohan.
Yeah, so we're talking about Jadeja and how good was Jadeja coming back from an injury, back-to-back player of the matches, so many wickets. Thoughts on Jadeja's performance, Sir Jadeja?
Sir Jadeja continues to amaze a lot of people. I mean, when Jadeja came to international cricket, he was basically known as a limited over specialist, somebody he's a super fielder who bowls wicket to wicket, doesn't concede runs, and a fairly handy bat lower down the order in limited over cricket. From there to become one of the leading all-rounders of his generation and probably a few other generations in the longest version of the game is the most fascinating turnaround that I've seen. I mean, I have not seen this kind of a transformation. I mean, somebody who was branded as a limited over specialist to become one of the best test all-rounders of his time. That's most fascinating story of one of the most fascinating stories that I've seen. And
Exactly, yeah,
he is
yeah,
not. And see, I mean, he is proving his work, his value with everything that he's doing. His fielding probably has gone unnoticed in this series so far because he has not had to do a lot while
yeah.
fielding. But give him the ball, he'll take wickets. Give him the bat, whatever the situation, he will score runs in both innings. That India, I mean, where he has batted in this series so far, India were under a bit of pressure. I mean,
Yeah.
had he got out cheaply, Australia would have been in a better position than they were. But Jadeja's determination, his skills, his sense of the occasion, his idea of how to apply himself and how to go about the job, how to how to confront Nathan Lyon and Todd Murphy, who were bowling quite well at those junctures,
Yeah.
made a huge difference in this way things have gone in this series so far. Nathan Lyon in the second is particularly was relentlessly testing him outside the top stump. He beat the outside a number of times. Jadeja initially did not know what to do because outside the off stump the ball was sometimes going out, steering away from him, sometimes keeping straight. So it was a guessing game for Jadeja for a long time, but he guessed it right. He got a few edges, yes, which fell short of the slip, and ultimately it was his determination to grind it out that worked in his favor and worked in favor of India. And bowling, I mean, he thinks on his feet all the time. He's not fixated with this plan or that plan.
Yeah.
He follows the batsman. He watches the batsman. He's a very cunning guy that way. He's a very cunning fellow that way as a bowler. And he follows each movement of the batsman. What he tries to think what the batsman is trying to do, and then comes up with his own plan, which is to outthink the batsman. If you see the way he got Alex Carey in the second innings in the second test, who played a reverse sweep, and Jadeja possibly anticipated that and then pushed the ball towards leg stump. Normally, a batsman doesn't play a reverse sweep from the leg stump. They play from off middle or slightly towards the other side. And Jadeja probably noticed it and then pushed the ball towards the leg side and bowled him leg stump. So
And
that
we have
shows.
seen, yeah, we have seen such tricky plays from Jadeja when he was in partnership with Mahendra Singh Dhoni behind the stumps. So we have seen this a lot of times. And
He's a cheeky guy. He's a
and
cheeky guy.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And as we are running out of time, a quick question for you, but a very important one. Yesterday, the squad for the third and fourth test has been announced. The KL Rahul has retained his position, but he is not the vice captain anymore. Significance on that?
I think there is only one surprise in that selection, in that announcement of the squad, which is there is a squad. Rahul is there, who was the vice captain for the first two matches, and for the remaining two matches, there is no vice captain.
Yeah,
That is the biggest surprise I would say. Well, going by the way Rahul has performed so far, I think he should not be playing, should not be part of the 11 in the third match at least.
So do you
And
think that he's not the vice captain anymore signifies that in a gloomy way that he won't be playing in the 11 but he's in the team?
if that is, then it's a very wrong way of saying that. I mean,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
the BCCI or the selection committee, they should have been very clear in what they are trying to say. See, vice captain is not something for home series. I mean, till very recently for home series is uh, there used to be no vice captain. This naming a vice captain for the home series is a recent development. And Rahul being part of the squad surprises me mostly because I think he should have been left out and allowed to play in the Irani Cup game
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was
to
going
to
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 say.
to have some game time to get some runs to build confidence and all that. But by naming him in the squad and by not naming him the vice captain, the BCCI or the selection committee is has confused everybody, including Rahul.
Exactly. So it creates a mental pressure also on the player.
It does,
And
certainly does. And the player himself has invited a lot of I mean, not invited, but let's see, I mean, players go through bad phases. That happens to everybody. But in
yeah,
Rahul's case, the numbers are quite very telling. I mean, he has played some close to 50 test matches and 47 48 or something around that, and averages in the mid 30s. In this series he has not looked apart at all. So in that case, why keep him in the squad and then why confuse him and the rest of the world? So that baffles me a bit, but that is how it is. I mean, but I don't.
yeah,
I will be falling off my chair if I see him make the 11 in the third.
exactly. And so to finish up, my last question to you. Yesterday, Saurashtra lifted the Ranji Trophy. They have also won the Vijay Hazare Trophy recently, and so now Saurashtra have established themselves as a powerhouse of domestic cricket in India. Your thoughts on that, and how they have kept their squad intact? So that has worked for them. Your thoughts?
See, Saurashtra has been a very fascinating story in domestic cricket. I think it was sometime in 2005 or 6 they were playing in the plate division. There used to be split and super elite division that those
Yeah,
days. They won it in 2005 or 6 to qualify for the elite division. And since then, they won the Vijay Hazare Trophy in 2008, beating Bengal in the final. That was their first significant achievement at the national level after a long time since independence. And after that, they have what they're doing now is I don't know how exactly to describe this, but definitely they are one of the most professional, most committed, most disciplined sides in domestic cricket who do not have stars. Their stars do not play for them. Remember that. Pujara, Jadeja, they hardly play for Saurashtra in these games. And to perform with players who many of whom will probably never play for India. I mean, yes, Kunatkat has made it to the Test squad and the One Day squad, but chances of him being he has played for India. Let's just take it. And
yeah, yeah,
Sakari has also played for India.
yeah,
Probably again play for India. Maybe the left arm spinner Dharmendra Singh Jadeja will also make it to the India side someday. But other than these three, or what I'm trying to say is that they do not have many who will play for India, but they have still become such a dominant force in domestic cricket in different formats. Shows their planning and how they go about their job. They have identified a pool of players. I have spoken to Jaydev some after their first Ranji Trophy win 2 years back that he was saying that we have identified a set of players, we give them chance. See, there are not too
yeah,
many debutants here and there. Unlike
yeah.
Bengal,
They try to keep
unlike
the team,
Bengal,
core team intact.
they have kept the core team intact. They have told everybody what your role is. They have
Yeah,
been very specific about that. They have told everybody, drilled into them, made it part of the system that this is what we expect from you, and this is what you have to do.
we have
And that
seen
that
Bengal
is what
rotating players throughout the tournament,
And
even a debutant.
Saurashtra hardly did that.
Yeah.
They have hardly done that over the last few years. I mean, you won't see a 19-year-old making debut for Saurashtra very often. Most of them are quite mature, and that is what I mean. They have uh, uh, they identified a core, persisted with them, and now they are reaping the rewards of that policy. So it's something for every other state to take note of and see. And Saurashtra was not a domestic cricket force at all. I mean, till about 12 or 15 years back, but now they are. So you have to be serious about what they are doing and take them very very seriously. And obviously everybody takes them seriously, but it's time to take a leaf out of their book and see what they are doing. I mean, take the good things. I mean, learn the good things out of what they have done. They have set an example for everybody to follow. It's a fantastic to see this happen. I mean, Saurashtra
Okay,
was a non-entity in domestic cricket when we were growing up.
thank you. It was great talking to you. We had a great conversation. Today, India will play Ireland in South Africa, and we'll have on-ground coverage from that. We'll have a live show from the studio where Shubhan Chakraborty will be joining us from South Africa, and we have lots more in store. So keep watching RevSportz. We'll come back tomorrow again with the morning show, teeing off with RevSportz. Till then, thank you. Keep watching.
Bye. Bye. Thank you.
Bye.